ورسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول كل بدعة ضلالة.
Therefore, ikhwan, this istiqamah is obtained by way of ilm, by way of knowledge. And it is knowledge that Allah Azza wa Jal has raised the believers by way of. And the most important branch of knowledge, ikhwan, that each and every one of us as believers must enter into is that which is related to the aqeedah, to the belief. Why? Because it is the belief, ikhwan, that is the origin of everything that we do. We already mentioned previously that the origin of Iman is in the heart. Iman, ayyuhal ikhwa, and bil aqeedah is connected to that which we believe in our hearts. That which we hold, that which we maintain in relation to the pinnacles of Iman first and foremost, the pillars of Iman. Allah Azza wa Jal informed us of the fact that the companions alongside the messenger believed as he did in the pinnacles and in the arkan and the pillars of Iman. آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله. Allah Azza wa Jal mentions, indeed, the Rasul, آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه. The Rasul, he believes in that which was revealed to him, والمؤمنون, and the believers, يعني the companions who were with him, كل آمن بالله, all of them believe in Allah and the malaika and the books and the messengers. And so these pinnacles and these pillars of Iman, each and every one of them, the companions believed in them, ikhwan. And understand that this belief is not just in order to enter into some science or some academic study, so we can say that we've achieved a knowledge of the aqeedah, which is what everybody should know. Rather, it is intrinsically connected to action. And that is because our scholars, they say that there is a talazum, or there is a connection between al-aqeedah wa sharia. There is a connection between aqeedah and sharia, or the outer actions that a person performs. Yani, if we look at the actions that Allah Azza wa Jal has placed upon us as believers, Allah Azza wa Jal has placed upon us salah. Allah Azza wa Jal has placed upon us siyam, fasting. Allah Azza wa Jal has placed upon us hajj. Allah Azza wa Jal has placed upon us zakah. And there are other actions like birrul walidain, sadaqah, and other than that from the actions that are upon us, being dutiful to our parents, giving in charity, and so on. When a person carries those actions out, know that there is a bond and a connection between the action and between his belief. That is to say, when the believer, he stands for prayer, mathalan, Allahu Akbar, he enters into salah. Though it is an action that he performs, there is a strong connection between the action and his aqeedah. Why? When he says Allahu Akbar, that takbir is known as takbirah al-ihram wa tahreem. That is, it is the takbirah that a person makes that makes things haram from the time that he makes that takbirah. That is, when he makes that takbir, it is haram for him to speak about the affairs of the dunya. It is not permissible for him to eat. Yani, there are certain actions that he performs. So this takbirah is like the ihram that a person enters into when he goes and makes hajj and umrah. When he makes hajj and umrah and he adorns himself with the garment of ihram, and when he reaches Dhul Hulayfa, or he reaches Yalamlam, or he reaches Qarn al-Manazil, or any one of the areas that are known to be the mawaqit, the places where we now have to enter into ihram, from the time that he enters into his ihram and he makes his niyyah, from that point onwards, there are things that are haram upon him. It is haram for him to marry. It is haram for him to propose. It is haram for him to hunt. It is haram for him to cut his hair. There are certain things that are haram upon him, except with an excuse. And so, The affair then, just as the ihram, by way of it, there are certain things that are not permissible for him. Similarly, this takbirah, when he does so, he enters into a state wherein certain things are not permissible for him to do. Tayyib. When he does so, when he enters into that state, what is it that is in his heart? What is in his heart is that Allah Azza wa Jal has commanded him with salah. That this is why he performs it. Aqeedah. What is in his heart is that now there are certain things that are impermissible upon him. Aqeedah, belief. What is in his heart is that Allah Azza wa Jal sees him as he prays. Aqeedah, belief. What is in his heart is that this action that he performs, it is the greatest of the actions, of his righteous actions. Al itlaq, after the shahadatain. Absolutely, there is nothing better than salah. Aqeedah. There is in his heart that salah is the first thing that he'll be reckoned with and reckoned for Yawm al-Qiyamah. Aqeedah, belief. There is in his heart that if his reckoning in relation to his prayer is good, that is, that his performance of prayer throughout his life was sound and his prayers were accepted, then the rest of his reckoning will be good. Aqeedah. There is in his heart that if he needs to exit something or eject something from his mouth, that he should not exit it or eject it before him, rather he should do so to his left, because before him are malaika, and that Allah Azza wa Jal is before him and sees him. Aqeedah. And so the action itself, when he performs that action, yes, it is an action, but the action has a connection and a bond between that which is in his heart and what has become manifest by way of this action. And the same, ikhwan, applies for every single righteous action that a person performs. When he gives his zakah, he gives it because he believes that it is wajib upon him. Aqeedah. He does so because he knows that if he hoards his wealth on Yawm al-Qiyamah, it will be turned into a brand that he will be branded on his back and his side with. Yawm al-Qiyamah. Aqeedah. Siyam, when a person fasts, he fasts because he believes that one day's fast distances him from the hellfire. Arba'ina Khalifa. That it distances from him from the hellfire for 40 autumns. Aqeedah. He believes that when he fasts, as-siyamu junnah, his fast is a barrier. That is a barrier between him and haram. A barrier between him and the punishment and the anger of Allah Azza wa Jal. Aqeedah. Hajj, when he performs his Hajj, what is it that he believes? He believes, as the Prophet ﷺ, he said, as occurs in the hadith of Abdullah ibn Umar, Man hajja wa lam yarfuth wa lam yafsuk, raja'a ka yawmi waladathu ummu. Whoever performs Hajj and does not yarfuth, he doesn't utter statements related to having relations with his wife, wa lam yafsuk, he doesn't commit sins, raja'a ka yawmi waladathu ummu. He returns as the day his mother gave birth to him. What does that mean? He returns as the day his mother gave birth to him. Means young, baby, sinless. He returns sinless. Does he see those sins? Does he see them being erased? Does he see his scroll? It is ajib and amazing that we should hear people saying, Aqeedah, Aqeedah, Aqeedah. We're not going to move on to some other topic, something more important. The origin, ikhwan, of our essence is in Aqeedah and is in our belief. And then that which issues from our belief, from our righteous actions, from our character, from our suluk, from the things, ayyuhal ikhwa, that concern us. They have a connection to this aqeedah that we have, this belief that we have. If we didn't have that belief, and if it was absent, then many of the things, ikhwan, that affect the believer and that concerns him or causes him to shed a tear wouldn't affect him whatsoever. The believer who reflects upon himself and his own shortcomings and his own weaknesses, and when he's alone with Allah Azza wa Jal, and he supplicates to his Lord, when he does so and he sheds a tear, why does he shed a tear? because he knows how deficient he has been and how deficient he is. He knows how much of a pathetic servant and slave he has been. He knows how disobedient to his Lord and his Rabb and his Mawla he has been. He knows that his standing before Allah Azza wa Jal is close. And he knows that he will be questioned concerning everything that he has done. It causes him to shed a tear. All of those things return back to the belief that is in the heart of that individual. And so the first, ikhwan, and the most important of the areas of knowledge are and is that which is related to the knowledge of our belief, what we should believe as mu'minun.